Today I'm changing the transmission fluid on my Cadillac STS 2005. This is the V8. I'm changing transmission fluid and I'm using this Castrol Transmax full synthetic. The Cadillac requires Dextron 3H, and that's what this has. So clearly very important that you check in the owner's manual and see what transmission fluid you need. This is going to be suitable for my car, so let me show you all the steps and let's get to it. Okay, these aren't all the tools, but primarily you're going to need a T40 hex bit. I already have the hex bit in right here, and you're also going to need this one, which I'll talk about this one a little later, but this is for the fill plug. So I just bought, your typical little hex kit. So I'm using the T40 in the wrench with a drain plug, and this is for the fill plug. Okay, right here I put down a mover's blanket for some softness. Then I put down a tarp. After I drove the car up onto my ramp under each tire, and then I have the jack on the frame, not for necessarily support, but it never hurts to have extra support. But I put the jack here just to raise the vehicle up a little bit more. Obviously, you're going to need your drain bucket, and then I have a towel. So let me show you where the drain plug is and the fill plug. Okay, before I show you where the drain and fill plug, I forgot to tell you I have the emergency brake on and I have the rear tires blocked. Okay, now let me show you where this drain plug is. So all I'm doing is crawling straight under the car. As you see, right here is your transmission pan, which is directly behind. Here's the oil pan, here's your oil filter, there's your oil plug. So behind the oil pan, come straight back here behind the oil pan, and right here is my T40 drain plug. Obviously, you just position your container right under the drain plug hole. Go ahead and take out the drain plug, and then all your transmission fluid drains. Now, the issue is your fill plug, because right here your exhaust pipe is in your way. Your fill plug is right there. That's where the fill plug is. So that's why I said you're going to need that T40 in the form of an Allen wrench, because there's just very limited space, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So let me get my T40 on the ratchet. Go ahead and drain this. Okay, now I'm about to take this drain plug out, and you want to clearly make sure that your car is cool, or at least not super hot, because this transmission fluid can get very hot. So once you break the initial seal, it comes right on out. Yeah, let me show you what your, that's why you put a tarp under here. Let me show you what your drain plug looks like. See if I can get that in better focus for you. So there's your drain plug. Just a little, what is that, about a ½ inch. Has a little rubber washer on the inside. Not too much to it. So you let your transmission fluid drain, and today I'm not taking the transmission pan out to do a full. I'm just doing a fluid change only. So that's why I'm not going to take the pan out. But if you wanted to, I believe these are 10 millimeters. There's about 30 of them on. You just take them all off, drop your pan, put on a new filter, put in a new filter, put the pan back on, and all the other steps are the exact same. So as soon as this stops, I'll go ahead and put this drain plug back in, and then we'll jump on that the fuel plug, and we'll fill it on up. Okay, now that all the transmission fluid has drained out, I'm just going to simply put the plug back in. You want to hand tighten it as far as you can. Definitely do not want to over tighten this. Then you tighten it down to whatever the specs yours say, or just get it pretty snug. You don't want to over tighten this thing. Okay, now let me show you this transmission fluid. Okay, when you're pulling your transmission fluid out, obviously you want to be careful because you do not want to spill any of this. But I'm about to show you just how dirty, or not dirty, but how dark this transmission fluid is compared to my new transmission fluid. So I'll show you that in a second. Okay, right here I have my new transmission fluid, the Castrol Trans Max, and I have my old transmission fluid. I have two empty Gatorade containers, and I'm just going to fill this one up and then fill that one up, and we're going to compare the difference. Okay. Top. Okay. Now, here's the new transmission fluid. It's almost like grape juice. It's a dark purple. This stuff is pure black. I don't know if you can really see the difference in the two. Dark purple, pure black. This also, the new one right here, it also has a sweet smell to it. This stuff smells old, dirty, and burnt. Not burnt like the transmission is bad, but it does smell bad. So, there you go. Now, let's get to filling the transmission back up with fluid. Okay, now I'm ready to put the transmission fluid back in, and you're going to need a pump. Since you have a fill plug, you're going to need a pump. I'm using this one. It has a in right here and an out right here. So I take the in holes, put it into the transmission fluid container, and then the out into the drain plug hole. Now I have an interesting story about the drain plug hole. Okay, here's your initial T40. Here's the T40. You don't have this much room under there to put your T40 bit into the drain plug, and then to put this little attachment on, and then to use your ratchet. You don't have this much room right here. Sorry, you don't even have this much room. So what I did, I went and I cut a T40, and I cut a socket, which is a 6.5 by the way. I cut a socket and I cut a T40, and as you see, the combination of the two, this cut Torx bit, the cut socket in the ratchet, is shorter than just the T40. this was still too long. What I had to do was, that's why earlier I told you you're going to need this. So if you look at this right here, this one is shorter than the one I cut, and that makes a difference. I'm talking, because even to put this in, it was a little tight. So you make sure, hold on, let me stress that. You make sure that you can get your drain plug out and back in before you drain the transmission fluid out of your transmission. Because if you drain that transmission fluid and you can't get your drain plug back in, you're out of luck. So you go get something similar to this, or you come up with a way to get that drain plug out. So let me go ahead and show you just how tight it is with this, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'm back under the car next to the transmission pan. Let me show you what you're looking at. Right here, here's the Torx bit. Here's the drain plug, here's the Torx bit. Now, as you can see, I'm gonna do my best to show you how tight this is. That's with the Torx bit in there. And you're talking, I don't know, a half of an inch worth of clearance. See if I can get you a better shot. I mean, look, there's the Torx bit. You have a half of an inch worth of clearance. So, with your Torx bit in, you grab it. I had to actually get the assistance of a pipe. I just put this pipe over the Torx bit, and then I grabbed it and pulled it on down. Okay, now I just got done using this and I broke the initial tightness. So I just go back to this piece, you know, just your regular Torx bit. I put it up there and I just twist it off by hand because now it's loose, and then I can go ahead and take it on down. So, let me see if I can show you that at all. Let's see. Okay, as you see right there, there's the Torx bit, and I can go ahead and just use my fingers and twist it on off, and then the plug will just come right on out. And here's the plug. Now, this plug looks just like the other plug. They're pretty much identical. So, right there, right here, that's the fill plug. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this and you put your holes, put the holes in the plug, put the other end in your transmission container, and I mean the transmission fluid container, and then you just pump until it's filled up. Now I have one more tip to tell you. Let me get out from under the car and then I'll show you. Okay, now before you go and start putting transmission fluid back in, which I know I need 4 quarts because that's how much was in my drain pan. But here's the thing, right now the car is sitting like this because I have it on ramps and it's sitting like this. So that means when you start filling in, transmission fluid in your drain pan, it will fill up and start coming out before you get to the 4 quarts. So you're gonna have to lift up the back tires and make your car level, and then go ahead and fill your transmission fluid so that your drain plug is level and that the transmission fluid doesn't pour on out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get my jack and I'm gonna put blocks under the tires and jack the rear up until it's level. Then I'll go from there. Okay, right now I have the tube all the way in the transmission pan, in the fill hole. I have the other tube all the way to the bottom of my transmission container, and I'm just going to pump and as soon as it starts going up in there, I'm going to put my pan under here. So when I fill it up, which I know 1 quart won't do it, but when I fill it up, any of the overflow, I'll just catch it. As you can see, I've already taken some down. So I'll just go ahead and fill the pan on up and do the other 3 quarts until I get 4 quarts in there, or until it starts coming out, and then I'll be done with this part at least. Okay, now I'm in the car. I just got done filling up the transmission pan with transmission fluid, and I'm going to start the car up, and then I'm going to cycle through each gear, you know, go from park to reverse, let it sit there for 3 seconds. I'm do that in each gear. I'm go all the way down, all the way up. I'm do that 2 or 3 times, and then I'm going to go down and check to make sure that there's no leaks. And the reason why you do this cycle is just so before you start driving, transmission fluid has already had an opportunity to go through each gear. So simply start the car up. Obviously hold your brake. Reverse. I'm going to do that a couple times, but right now I'm about to go check to see if it's leaking. Okay, there's your drain plug. It's not leaking anything. And then I don't know if you can see the fuel plug, but it's not leaking anything as well. So I'll go through, cycle through the gears, and go take it for a test drive, and then I'll be done. Okay, you just saw me cycle the transmission through all the gears, cycle the transmission fluid through all the gears. And when I got done with that, I went back under to check if there were any leaks, which there wasn't. I took the fuel plug back off and put in an additional 3/4 of a quart. Put the fuel plug back on, just cycled through all the gears. Now I'm about to go take it for a test drive. Okay, just one last tip before I leave. After you've cycled your transmission fluid and topped it off and checked it, cycled it, and now you're going for your test drive, don't just smash. You know, take it easy for a few miles, let the transmission fluid really go through and cycle through all the gears until you get back to your normal driving. So, last tip. As usual, I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I'll be sure to answer.